There's this quiet window of time, a moment that doesn't feel dramatic when you're in it, but can become incredibly important once it's gone. It's that final year before retirement. And here's the truth. Some financial moves are surprisingly easy while you're still working, but become frustrating, expensive, or even impossible once you stop. The problem is, most people don't realize which decisions matter most until they're already on the other side. And by then, the window has closed. So today, I want us to slow down and really walk through this together, because this isn't just about money. It's about protecting your future, preserving your options, and making sure you don't look back with regret thinking, I wish I had known that. Especially for those of us in Gen X, standing right on the edge of retirement, this is your moment to be intentional. Let's not leave anything on the table. 1. Take full advantage of your employer health coverage. Let me start with something that seems simple, but is often overlooked: your employer-sponsored health insurance. Right now, while you're still working, you likely have access to coverage that is, let's be honest, better, more predictable, and more affordable than what you'll find afterward. And if you've already met your deductible this year, that's not just a detail, that's an opportunity. This is the time to finally take care of the things you've been putting off. That dental work you've delayed, that eye exam you keep rescheduling, that minor procedure you've been meaning to get to, do it now. Because once you retire, things change. COBRA can be shockingly expensive. ACA plans can vary widely. And Medicare? It doesn't begin until age 65. And here's what many people don't expect. Some of the services your current plan covers may not be covered the same way later, or at all. So think of this as your final use it wisely phase of premium coverage. Don't rush past it. 2. Don't let your FSA money disappear. Now, while we're still on healthcare, there's another piece that often slips through the cracks: your flexible spending account, FSA. Unlike an HSA, most FSAs operate on a strict rule: use it or lose it. And that means any money left sitting there when you leave your job, it could simply vanish. So before you retire, be intentional. Schedule appointments, refill prescriptions, stock up on eligible over-the-counter items. Even small purchases like first aid supplies or contact lens solutions can add up and help you fully use those funds. Because that money, it's already yours. Don't let it quietly disappear. 3. Make the most of your HSA if you have one. Now, if you're fortunate enough to have a health savings account, HSA, that's a completely different opportunity. An HSA is one of the most powerful tools in retirement planning, and many people don't fully realize just how flexible it can be. Before you leave your job, consider this. You can roll your HSA into a provider like Fidelity Investments or Charles Schwab, where you'll likely gain access to a broader range of investment options. And here's something important, something that surprises a lot of people. You can continue contributing to your HSA until you enroll in Medicare, as long as you have a qualifying high-deductible health plan. Even more interesting, unlike a Roth IRA, an HSA does not require earned income to contribute. That flexibility can make a meaningful difference in how you plan those early retirement years. 4. Timing your exit could save you thousands. Now let's talk about something that might feel small, but can have a surprisingly large financial impact: the exact timing of your retirement. I've seen situations where being off by just a few days or even one day costs someone thousands of dollars. Think about your annual bonus. Do you receive one every year? If so, what are the rules? Some employers require you to be actively employed on a specific date in order to qualify. Leave one day early, and that entire bonus could disappear. The same goes for paid time off, PTO. Some companies reset PTO at the beginning of the year. Others base it on your work anniversary. Some will pay out unused days, others won't. So this becomes a strategy decision. If your company pays out unused PTO, you might want to let it accumulate. If it's use it or lose it, you should plan to take that time before leaving. And here's a detail many people overlook. If your PTO resets soon, it might actually be worth staying just long enough to let that reset happen, because walking away too early could mean leaving thousands of dollars behind. 5. Don't walk away from employer contributions. This next one is one of the most painful mistakes and one of the easiest to avoid. Leaving money behind in your retirement plan. If your employer contributes to your 401k, pension, or another retirement account, pay close attention to when those contributions are made. Is it monthly, quarterly, annually? If you leave just before that contribution hits, you could miss out on money that you were counting on. And then there's something even more important: vesting schedules. Some employer contributions only become fully yours after a certain number of years. Leave too early, and a portion of that money disappears. I recently heard about someone who unknowingly walked away from nearly $5,000 simply because they didn't wait a couple more months. That's not a complicated mistake. It's just one that comes from not slowing down and checking the details. 6. Set up credit while you still have income. Now here's something people don't often think about, but it can quietly shape your financial flexibility later. Access to credit. While you're working, lenders see stability. They see a paycheck. They see consistent income. They see lower risk. But once you retire, even if you're financially secure, even if you have substantial assets, lenders may see you differently, and approvals can become more difficult. So this isn't about taking on unnecessary debt. It's about preserving options. You might consider opening a home equity line of credit, HELOC. Even if you never use it, it becomes a safety net. If your roof needs replacing, if your HVAC system fails during a market downturn, you won't be forced to sell investments at the worst possible time. It gives you breathing room. 7. Give yourself more flexibility with credit options. Let's stay with this idea of flexibility for just a moment, because in retirement, flexibility isn't a luxury, it's security. Another simple step you might consider before retiring is opening an additional credit card. Now I know, that might sound counterintuitive, but this isn't about spending more. It's about having options. If you currently rely on just one card, you're putting yourself in a vulnerable position, because credit card issuers can reduce limits or even close accounts with very little notice. Having a second card, ideally with a solid credit limit, creates a backup plan, even if you never use it. Think of it like a quiet safety net sitting in your wallet. And let me share something personal to make this real. My mom is 86 years old, and she uses 2 different credit cards for her everyday expenses. It's how I help manage purchases for her, how we keep things simple and organized. And I've thought about this often. You don't want to find yourself later in life wishing you had set these things up when it was easier, because it is easier now. 8. Think ahead about your next vehicle. This next one doesn't get talked about enough. Your car. If you expect that you'll need to replace your vehicle in the next few years, it might be worth doing that before you retire. Why? Because financing is tied heavily to income and employment history. While you're working, lenders see consistency. Once you retire, even if your financial life is stable, it can look very different on paper. And here's the deeper issue. You don't want to enter retirement with a high-mileage vehicle that's unreliable, constantly needing repairs, adding stress and unexpected costs. Retirement should feel lighter, not like you're waiting for the next breakdown. So if a vehicle change is already on your radar, this might be the right time to act. 9. Build your Social Security bridge. Now let's shift into something that can have a long-term impact on your financial future. Your Social Security strategy. You can begin taking Social Security as early as age 62, but the longer you delay, up to age 70, the larger your monthly benefit becomes, and that creates a powerful opportunity. If you can afford to wait, you may significantly increase your guaranteed income for the rest of your life. But here's the challenge. If you retire before claiming Social Security, you'll need another source of income to cover that gap. This is where what I like to call a Social Security bridge comes in. It's simply a pool of money set aside to carry you through those early retirement years so you're not forced to claim benefits too early. That bridge could come from a Roth IRA, a 401k, a taxable brokerage account, or ideally, a dedicated cash reserve. And this is where thoughtful planning makes all the difference. Because when you create that cushion, something powerful happens. You give your investments more time to grow. You give yourself the option to delay Social Security. And you reduce the risk of pulling money out of your portfolio during a market downturn, what's often called sequence of returns risk. 10. How to build that cash cushion, even in 1 year. Now you might be thinking, this sounds great, but how do I actually build that kind of cushion in just 1 year? And the answer is intentionally and creatively. Start by looking at where your money is currently going. Maybe you're contributing heavily to retirement accounts right now. Could you temporarily redirect a portion of that into a liquid savings account? Not forever, just for this transition period. You might also consider channeling your upcoming bonus into savings, using unused PTO payouts, setting aside your tax refund, picking up a small side income, or selling items you no longer need. The goal here isn't perfection, it's progress. If you can build even 1 to 3 years of living expenses in accessible funds, you create breathing room. And breathing room in retirement is everything. 11. Test your retirement budget before it's real. This next step is one of the most practical and one of the most eye-opening. Test your retirement budget before retirement begins. At least 3 to 6 months before your planned exit, try living on your projected retirement income. No guessing, no, we'll figure it out later. Actually live it, because this is where reality meets expectation. You might discover some expenses are higher than you thought, others are lower. Certain habits are harder to change than expected, and that's okay, because you're still in the safest possible place to adjust, while your paycheck is still coming in. It's much easier to make small lifestyle shifts now than to be forced into them later. 12. Create a do not wait list. Now I want to pause here for something that isn't strictly financial, but maybe the most important part of all. Create what I like to call a do not wait list, because retirement isn't just about numbers, it's about life. And if we're honest with ourselves, our 60s may be one of the last decades where we have both the time and the energy to fully enjoy certain experiences. That's not meant to sound heavy, it's meant to be real. So ask yourself, what truly matters to me? What have I been putting off? What do I not want to delay any longer? Maybe it's travel. Maybe it's improving your health. Maybe it's being more present with your family, your children, your grandchildren. Write it down, not just in your head, on paper. Because something changes when you make it visible. It becomes a commitment. And here's the truth. Even if your health and energy remain strong into your 70s and beyond, your priorities may shift. What feels important now might not feel the same later. So honor what matters to you today. 13. Plan your ACA strategy carefully. Now let's talk about something that can quietly become one of your biggest expenses in early retirement. Health insurance, specifically if you're retiring before age 65. Because until Medicare begins, many retirees rely on plans from the Affordable Care Act, ACA, marketplace. And here's what makes this so important. Your premiums under ACA are largely based on your income, not your net worth, not your savings, your income. Which means something as simple as how much you withdraw from your retirement accounts can directly affect how much you pay for health insurance. And in some cases, even small changes can lead to dramatic differences in premiums or subsidies. So this is not something you want to figure out after you retire. This is something you want to model, to plan, to understand ahead of time. Ask yourself, how much income will I show each year? Which accounts will I withdraw from first? How can I manage that income to stay within favorable ranges? Because with just a little planning, you may be able to significantly reduce your healthcare costs during those early retirement years. 14. Download everything before you walk away. Now, this next step is simple, but incredibly important. Before you walk out that door for the last time, before your access is gone, make sure you gather everything you might need later. Because once you lose access to your employer systems, getting that information back can become difficult, or sometimes impossible. So take a little time to prepare. Download or email yourself pay stubs, HR documents, retirement plan details, account numbers, contact information for your 401k provider and benefits administrators. Think of it as creating your personal retirement file. And while you're at it, take a moment to clean things up. Remove personal files from your work computer. Save your photos, your documents, your music. Unsubscribe from personal emails tied to your work account. It's a small step, but it creates a clean, confident transition. Number 15, the bigger picture. Why these small decisions matter. Now, if you step back and look at everything we've talked about, none of these steps feel urgent in the moment. They don't feel dramatic. They don't feel like life-changing decisions. And that's exactly why they're so easy to overlook. Because while you're working, everything feels steady. The paycheck is coming in. The systems are in place. The safety nets are already built around you. But once that paycheck stops, everything changes. Suddenly, the same decisions become more expensive, more complicated, or simply unavailable. And that's why this window, the final year before retirement, is so powerful. Because it gives you a chance to act while everything is still within reach. 16. A personal reflection. You know, as I think about this stage of life, I realize something more and more clearly. The decisions we make today, no matter how small they seem, have a way of echoing forward. Just like the decisions we made 20 or 30 years ago are still shaping our lives today. And I don't know about you, but I don't want to reach a point in the future where I look back and think, I wish I had slowed down. I wish I had paid attention. I wish I had taken that extra step. Because retirement isn't just about having enough. It's about having freedom, having flexibility, having peace of mind. And so much of that is built in this quiet season right before it begins. 17. Your simple retirement checklist. So let me gently bring this all together for you. In this final year before retirement, focus on using your health benefits fully, spending down your FSA wisely, optimizing your HSA, timing your exit carefully, securing employer contributions, setting up credit while you still can, building a Social Security bridge, creating a cash cushion, testing your retirement budget, writing your do not wait list, planning your ACA strategy, organizing your important documents, not all at once, not perfectly, just intentionally. 18. Closing thoughts. Because here's the truth. Retirement is not just a financial milestone. It's a life transition. And like all meaningful transitions, it deserves thought, care, and a little bit of foresight. So take this time seriously, but not fearfully. You're not behind, you're not late, you're right on time to do this well. And before I go, I'd love to hear from you. What's one thing you're already thinking about as you approach retirement? Or maybe something you've learned along the way that others should know. Share it, because these conversations matter more than we realize. Thank you so much for spending this time with me. Take care of yourself, take care of your future, and I'll see you on the other side.